Righto, welcome back to another episode. So last time we were here, we were working on the little mez section I got in the back corner for the four-wheel drive. Got the workbench built, done a few little trim bits, and this one we are going to concentrate on building a series of drawers underneath that workbench. So let's just get into it. And if you haven't already, it'd be pretty sweet if you hit that subscribe button. Cheers, let's get into the episode. Alrighty, so let's get stuck into these drawers. First thing I'm going to do is put that little angle brace piece in that I didn't put in last time, just to give it a bit more stability, because I'm going to have a little bit extra weight with the drawers and all that sort of stuff. So I am going to put that brace in. How I do it, not too sure yet. I might just build a little, I don't know, triangle bit to just screw back to the wall. And then yeah, we'll get stuck into building these drawers. I'll just do it out of the yellow tongue like I've built everything else in this shed. I think I should have enough offcuts lying around the shed to build all this, but who knows, it might end up at Bunnings at one stage. But first things first, let's build that little brace. Righto, she is solid as a rock now. Let's get onto these drawers. Righto, so just been to Bunnings, picked up another couple of sheets of yellow tongues to finish off the drawers, and picked up a few sets of runners and a couple of pull handles for the drawers later. So shouldn't have to go back to Bunnings, I'm hoping now. So we can get stuck into building these drawers. So essentially the plan is to build a couple of sets of boxes for each side of this brace. So I'll have one unit on that side of two drawers, another unit on this side of two drawers. So I'll build a carcass which will house the drawer runners themselves, and then I'll build the little drawer boxes separately, and then they should all just slot in there nicely. So that's how I'm going to go about doing this. So let's have a crack. All right, now that I've got all the pieces cut for the carcass, knock them all together, and then we can start working on the drawers. So the way I'm putting these together is the long pieces will be the top and bottom, obviously. So the end panels are going to actually run between them, just so I can pop the bottom panel off later to be able to get screws in from underneath to be able to screw the unit to the underside of the bench framing. So that's why I'm building it like this, or else I'd probably usually just do the end panels on the sides and the bottom piece and the top piece would be in between. So kind of just built it this way just so I can screw it back together into the unit easier. So let's chuck this thing together. Righto, so now that I've built the two carcasses for the drawers, I might just give it a quick test fit, make sure everything's all sweet, and then I can start getting into cutting up the drawer boxes and getting all that sorted out. So let's give them a quick test fit. Alrighty, it's worked out mint. It's a nice tight fit, so I don't have to try and balance it up there while I'm trying to screw it in later. So that should be good. Now I can start measuring up for the drawer boxes. Right, so I suppose the most accurate way I've found to measure up the actual drawer unit, the drawer box itself, is just by getting the runners themselves, button it up to one side, and then taking the measurement from that inside edge there. So, or else you can, pretty sure the overall dimension of both these is like 28 mils, so you can take the measurement minus 28 mil, but I've personally found sometimes that doesn't always work out for me, I don't know why. So I just get the whole drawer in there, the whole drawer runner in there itself, measure that, and then I know 100% that it's gonna fit. So that's how I'm gonna go about doing that. Righto, so drawer boxes are done. Next, I'll just take the whole carcass off, bring it over to the bench. That will just make life easier for me to install the drawer runners, so I can do them all on the bench. And then I'll be able to install the carcass back on here, pop this bottom section off the carcass so I can get a drill up into the bottom, screw up into the rails that I put in the bench top, and yeah, that'll be good to go. Then we'll start working on the faces. Rightio, so the way that I've found is easiest to install these ball bearing drawer runners is put the small section, which is this little side, onto the drawer box first, because then that gives you the offset you need off the bottom of this. So what I mean by that is put the whole unit together itself, that'll mount on there, and then as you slide that back, that offset, because that's flush to the bottom there, that's where this gets screwed in to the box. Then when you pop this off, that'll remain up there. And then this part, I'll get some 5mm packers, put those on the bottom, and I'll install the rail side 5mm above the bottom of the carcass, just so it's not running along, obviously scraping along the bottom there. So this will get installed up there, and because we're offsetting this, it'll stop any sliding or scraping of the bottom of the drawer on the bottom of the carcass. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna go about doing that. And I've done this a couple of times in some previous videos if you wanna look at those as well, but that's essentially as easy as it gets really, I reckon. Ripper. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. So that's the drawer boxes done and installed. So next is for the drawer fronts, but it's getting a bit late today, so I might have to leave it till next week, but for you, that'll be right now. So I've got the offcut from the top that I done last time. That should be the right length that I need for all the fronts of all these drawers. So I'm going to use the thickness of the blade to split each drawer, so hopefully that's enough. And this little gap in between here, I was actually going to put like a little faceplate in there and just have the drawer fronts finish either side, but I was just thinking about it. I might actually do the drawer fronts for these just overhang in the middle here, just so I don't have to do that. And yeah, that should sort that out. So yeah, let's get chopping. Ripper, that's looking mint now. So I've only got 2 screws in on each drawer front just to make sure I'm happy with all the alignment. So that gives me a little bit of room to drill new holes and adjust them if I do need. So pretty happy with it now. So what I'm gonna do is get the pull handles, screw those on. So I've left a little bit of a gap between the inside of the drawer and the top of the drawer face, so I don't have to router out the back of it because they're quite thin, so it doesn't really interfere when you close the drawer. So I don't have to do that, I can just screw them straight on. So I'll mark the center of all these faces, put the door handles back on, chuck another couple of screws in all the drawer fronts, and she's good to go. So let's chuck these on. Literally the worst screws I have ever seen. Righto, job done. So pretty happy how this has turned out. Obviously I've been able to utilise a lot of this space for all the stuff that I've had stored on the workshop side. So that's cleared up a bit of area over there, filled up these drawers, got a little bit of extra space to play around with as well, so that's good. And I've also got space underneath to store the odd thing here and there. So yeah, all good. So hope you got something out of this episode, and yeah, that brings us to the end of this one. So if you can hit that subscribe button, that'll be good. Make sure you don't miss out on the next episode. I'm gonna look into getting some wall storage up on this side of the workbench. So I'm gonna do a bit of a cabinet style thing. So yeah, don't miss out on that one. But yeah, cheers for watching. See you on the next one. See you on the next one. Keep having a crack. That brings us to the end of this episode. So cheers for watching. Till the next. Just leave it. Not much is the end of the episode anyway.